So let's get started with the question everybody asks all day, every day. I failed and I had to get another job. Do you have a full-time nanny? Some YouTubers' husbands will quit their job and make YouTube full-time. Chad and I would want a baby girl. Like, this is the learning time. This is where you can mess up. But our lifestyle would not be anywhere what it is now if we live. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to today's video. I already feel awkward because I just never do sit down videos anymore. So to be sitting here in the silence and it's just my voice, it feels so strange, but I have not done a Q&A in forever, and you guys have been asking for one for a long time, so I figured I would wrap some presents with you, sit in front of the Christmas tree and answer a ton of questions, different topics that I never really get a chance to talk about in my other videos because we're always on the go. So I hope that you enjoy this. Thanks for hanging out with me in advance. Before we get started, I grabbed all of my supplies. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to wrap. I have all of my wrapping paper here. I have some bows and string and stickers and whatnot. And then I just realized I don't even have like a regular roll of tape. I just have this packing tape, so I'm gonna have to pick it off and cut it, but it'll look cute. I'll hide the tape. So yes, I hope that you enjoy this. If you guys want to see more sit down videos, then please like the video. Please subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you here, and let's get started. So let's get started with the question everybody asks all day, every day, not all day, every day, but all the time. When are you having your next baby? And honestly, we don't know. Like, it could be in a year, it could be in 3 years, it could be in 5 years, it could be never. I don't think it's a never thing, but we don't have a specific timeline. And I feel like it would be a lot more realistic and practical for us to think about a second baby when Forrest is in school. I don't know if that's like when he's in kindergarten, in school, or when he's in preschool and he's going for like a full day, 4 days a week. But right now, I just feel like our plates are very full, and I honestly don't see it happening soon. This one I thought was really interesting. Have you ever experienced failure in something you really wanted? If so, how did you overcome it? I was thinking about this one for a while. I was like, what do I even talk about? And I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but the first time I wanted to go full-time on YouTube, it didn't work out. I failed and I had to get another job for about 2 years, and then it worked out the second time. I wasn't making enough money and it was really, really stressful. And how did I overcome it? I sucked it up. I went back to a normal job and I worked really, really hard on my channel. I would set up the camera before. First of all, I got a work from home job. I've talked about this before. So that I could film on my lunch breaks and I could film as soon as I was done with work and not like sit in traffic for 30 minutes and it get dark outside and all of that. So yeah, I would wake up early, I would set up the camera, and then I would film on my lunch breaks. I would film after work. I would work on the videos and edit until like the wee hours of the morning, and I did that for about 2 years until I had enough subscribers and views and affiliates and sponsors and things like that that I could go full-time, and I had, you know, like I was making money. So yeah, I don't know if you guys know that. I'm not sure if I've ever talked about that, but failure is so important. Failure is not always a bad thing, and the most successful people have failed a lot. They just keep going, they get up, they pick themselves up, they suck it up, and they figure it out. So do not be afraid of failure. It's part of the process. What does Chad do for a living? Some YouTubers' husbands will quit their job and make YouTube full-time and make YouTube full-time with their wife. Is that a possibility for you? Would Chad want to do that? So Chad does recipe development. He has a lot of cooking experience. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to food. So he writes recipes, he sources products. And as far as him quitting his job and being full-time on YouTube with me, honestly, I know a lot of people do that. I know it works out for a lot of people, but I also feel like it's very scary to solely rely on one income. Like if something happened with my job, we would be fine. If something happened with his job, we would be fine. And I mean, never say never, but I don't see it happening anytime soon, that's for sure. Like there's a lot of real life expenses that you have to think about when you only have one income. Obviously there's no health insurance for YouTubers, and we have health insurance through Chad's job, and having self employed health insurance is very, very expensive. And that would be just like a scary thing to have. Self-employed people, they always talk about health insurance and just how awful it is for them. So I'm very thankful that we have really good health insurance through Chad's job. And also he's just really good at what he does and he's very passionate about it. I can't see him wanting to solely like work with me full time with what I do and with like house cleaning videos and hair and makeup and outfits and mom things, you know what I mean? Like he has his own passions. And yeah, I mean, who knows if he will be doing the same thing forever? Who knows if he will want to do something different? I know he really enjoys his job, but life is long and you can do a lot of different things in your life. So I definitely do not see that happening soon. Hopefully that answers your question. How pretty is this wrapping paper? It's always so hard to show white stuff on camera. It just looks like very blown out, the color, but white and gold snowflakes. I'm gonna put some ribbon around this dinosaur. Do I have any advice for young adults who are getting ready to start a family soon and who are wedding planning? A lot going on here with wedding planning. I would say do as much yourself as you can. That's what we did, and save money, because everyone wants an amazing wedding, but it is one day of your life. And the whole saying of like your wedding is the best day of your life, is it really? Is it really? It was, for us, it was a ton of work, setting everything up. We did literally everything ourselves. I even made the napkins myself. We had a little less than 100 people. I want to say it was like 75 to 85 people maybe. And it was just a ton of work. But honestly, I'm glad that we did it that way because we didn't waste money. We didn't have like crazy expenses and a crazy expensive wedding, especially if you're getting ready to start a family. Saving money for that is a lot more important than spending a ton of money on like a luxurious wedding. It's one day, it's about the marriage, it's not about the wedding. That is the number one piece of advice for sure. It's about the marriage, not the wedding. Of course you want to have an amazing wedding, and it will be amazing, but it doesn't need to be extremely expensive in order to be amazing. As far as advice for starting a family, just try and be prepared financially with your jobs. Be realistic. Are you going to need daycare? If you do, get on a list as soon as possible. They have seriously long wait lists. Almost all of them do, like a year sometimes. Save your money. Get insurance, all the insurances that you're going to need. Get life insurance. And just try and be responsible and practical and ready. It's the biggest change in your whole life, and it will turn your world upside down. So just try and be as prepared as possible. I took a little pause there because Chad came in, he had to do something real quick, and he just left. I always feel self-conscious when I feel like he can hear me, so I'm glad that he's not here right now. I don't know why. I've always felt that way. Like, I like to just be alone when I'm filming. This one asks what to expect when just married and living together. It sounds like they've never lived together. One thing I will say, I know some people don't like to live together before marriage for religious reasons or whatever it is. I highly recommend living with someone before you marry them. I feel like that's the only way you really get to know somebody. You get to know their habits, their routine, and just who somebody is, you know, like only seeing somebody a few hours here and there. I think it's a lot harder to truly get to know them. That's just my opinion. That one's kind of short and sweet. The next one asks if Chad still works from home. What's it like at home when he's developing new recipes? So he works from home a vast majority of the time. He just left right now. I don't know what he's doing, some meetings or errands or something like that for work. And he'll be gone for a couple of hours and then he'll come back. Some days he works from home all day. Some days he isn't home all day. Some days he's here and then he's not, and then he's here and then he's not. He can go to his office, he can work from home. It depends on what it is. Some things he has to do in person and some things he does over Zoom. I know so many people have been on Zoom, but way more these last few months, well, this last year than ever before, and that is definitely the same for Chad. He loves working from home and just being around and being able to help a lot more. And a lot of days we're handing Forrest back and forth if he's not at school. So I love having him here a lot more, and I feel like it's so good for Forrest too. Are you currently in your forever home? Also, does Chad ever get upset with you being so busy on social media and YouTube? Is he completely understanding and has no issues with it? So the first one, are you in your forever home? I'm trying not to do the loudest parts while I'm talking so it's not like very annoying. I've always said I'm not a forever house kind of person. Like, we could live here for 3 years, 5 years, 15, 30 years. I don't really know. It depends on different opportunities in life. It depends on if our house suddenly shot up in value even more than it was and we found a different house that we liked and it was really good investment and all those kind of things, then maybe we would move. I think Chad feels the same way too. Does he ever get upset with me being so busy with social media and YouTube? No, this is my job. He knows I love my job. He loves my job too. He thinks it's very cool that I do what I do. And I would say the only time he's ever upset with it is like if I need a ton of extra help and he also needs help, you know, like he's busy with work too, then we really have to figure out like, okay, who's going to get their stuff done first? That's just the reality of working from home though, with a toddler to take care of. So the vast majority of the time, I would say he has no issue with it. How do you keep track of when to clean things? Do you have a schedule or a planner or a calendar? I definitely don't. As far as the everyday cleaning, we just do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and then with the deep cleaning things, it's just as needed. Like, if I don't remember the last time I scrubbed the toilet, I'll scrub the toilet. If something looks dirty, I'll clean it. Like, I noticed the baseboards yesterday. Down here, we're looking very gross and very dusty. How cute is that? Is it too bright? I feel like it's getting too bright. Let me turn it down a little bit. How's that? And this one asks if Chad and I would want a baby girl. So since we have a boy, we would love to have a girl, but I'm also the kind of person who feels like things happen for a reason, and if you can't change it, there's no reason to like spend a whole lot of time worrying about it and over analyzing it. So if we were to have another baby one day and it was another boy, we'd be very happy and very thankful with that too. How do you get the lighting so perfect in your videos? Well, first of all, thank you. I'm always worried about the lighting and I always think it doesn't look good. So I'm glad you think it looks good. Lighting is just something that you kind of figure out over time, and with different cameras and different lenses, that can change the lighting a lot. Sitting in front of a window, like facing a window, is going to make your lighting better. It's a little bit blown out and too dark or too bright back there because the light's coming in this way. And just like the settings on your camera, different lenses are going to look very different from one another, especially in terms of light, how much light they let in. And I have learned every single thing I know about filming and editing from watching YouTube videos. So search on YouTube how to make the lighting look nice in your videos, how to use the camera that you have, different settings to use. That is going to make the biggest difference in the world. How do you manage cleaning and being a mom? So first of all, cleaning is a full-time job in and of itself. It is so much harder for us to keep this house clean as opposed to the last house, just because it's bigger and there's more to mess up. And with the toddler, like, I put away Forrest's books, I'm not kidding you, 6 or 7 times a day. He dumps all of his books out, and it's just very hard to keep up with him. I try and be very smart about my time. Of course, everyone has lazy days. People ask me about that too. Like, how are you always so motivated? I'm not always so motivated. In general, I'm a very motivated person, but I'm not like perfect by any means every day. I'm keeping the house perfect every day. I just try and be smart about when I do things. So every day I'll keep up with the regular house maintenance stuff as much as possible whenever I get a chance. I like to do a lot of cleaning in the morning, like first thing before I start working, because it's just so hard to work in a mess. And Shad does a lot too. People always ask about that, like if he helps me. Of course he helps me. I just, when I'm filming, he's with Forrest. He's not also picking things up, you know? So Chad will typically pick up the kitchen at night. He'll start the dishwasher. He will wipe down the counters, pick up Forrest's tray and his mess on the floor and all of that. And then I will unload the dishwasher in the morning, wipe things down again, and just make sure it's looking good. I also started to fold laundry while Forrest is in the bath. Like, I always start his bath while Chad's picking up dinner, and I'll wash him and I'll rinse him and play with him for a couple minutes. And then when Chad's done with the dishes in the kitchen, he will come upstairs and he will read a book to Forrest, and I can see them in the bathroom, and I'll fold laundry while they're doing that. That has helped me significantly, just like 5 to 7 minutes power folding, going as fast as I can and getting some laundry done. This wrapping paper is so pretty. It's like a white and pink wreath on a gold background. I love that. I know it's hard to look at. Do you have any advice for creators in the same niche? I hope that I have good advice. I'm definitely no expert. I will say, if you can upload at the same time on the same days, so people always know exactly when to expect a video from you, that is amazing. I used to be that way, like pre-baby. I wish I was that way now. That is a great thing to do. And then just be consistent with your thumbnails so people know, again, like that's your video when they see that thumbnail before they even see what kind of video it is. Like have your thumbnails as far as the lighting and the colors look consistent, and definitely the fonts being consistent is another really, really big one. I've done the pink border around my thumbnails for years. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of outdated, but again, people see that and they know that's my video. So I think that's a great thing to do. Hi, Alexandra. I would like to know about your teeth whitening and your manicure and another baby. I talked about the baby, the teeth whitening strips. Those are, I can't remember what they're called. Oh, it's Luminu. I love the Luminu whitening strips, and your manicure is very grown out and cracked right now. Sometimes I do my nails at home. I recently just started going to a nail salon here and there for like the first time. I'm not kidding you. In 6 years, 7 years, a long, long time. It's very hard to make time to do that kind of thing, but I do enjoy it. Favorite part and least favorite part about being a YouTuber, from Brianna K. Hi, Brianna from Bits of Brie. So my favorite part is I just love everything about YouTube. I've always wanted to be a YouTuber. This is the only thing I've ever like seriously wanted to do. So I'm very thankful that I get to do this. I love filming videos and just sharing. There are so many different topics on YouTube, so many different kinds of people, and you can talk about anything and everything. Like with my channel, I'm not an expert in anything. I'm just sharing like my real life, realistic, at least realistic for me, routines and ideas and ways of doing things. Like I decorated some cookies in my last video. They were not perfect. They were not professional looking by any means, but that's real life. You know what I mean? For me, that's practical for me. My least favorite part, probably just feeling like you always have to be on. This is not a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? This is not, yeah, there's always, it doesn't shut down and you always feel like you should be posting. So I think for me, that's the hardest part, just feeling like I'm never done. What are your thoughts on plastic surgery? I don't have a ton of thoughts on plastic surgery personally. I've never wanted it, but if there is something that really bothers you about yourself and you can afford to change it, it's not going to like put you in, you know, financial stress, and you've researched your doctor and you know it's a safe procedure or it doesn't have a ton of risks and it's going to make you feel better every single day when you look in the mirror, then by all means, whatever makes you happy. Where are your beautiful couches from? These couches are from IKEA. I love the Pottery Barn couches, but they're very, very expensive, like thousands and thousands of dollars. And with a toddler, I mean, I wouldn't spend that anyway, but with a toddler, I wanted something that wasn't crazy expensive, that I could wash. These are slipcover couches. The only thing I don't like about them is it's just hard to get some of the lines and wrinkles out from washing them. But the fact that I can wash these slipcovers, I'm all about it. And worst case scenario, if I do need to repurchase the slipcovers, they're not crazy expensive. So IKEA, I love IKEA. Are you lonely working from home without colleagues? So almost always I'm not lonely because I'm so busy and I always have things to do and things I'm working on that I don't really like sit and think about that. The only time I wish I had colleagues is around the holidays. I cannot get this off. The only time I wish I had colleagues is like around the holidays when everyone has their holiday work parties. That would be something nice to have for sure. But the pros so outweigh the cons for me as far as working from home and working for myself. If Forrest is sick, I can stop working, I can take care of him. I don't have to like work around anybody else's schedule. If I want to not work on a holiday, I don't have to work on a holiday. It's such a luxury to be able to work for yourself. And for so long, I didn't work for myself. So I appreciate every single ounce of this, to say the least. Advice for new moms. Give yourself grace. It is so hard. And it's one of those things that I truly feel like you can never fully prepare for. It is the most amazing thing in the world. Forrest is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm so obsessed with him. I always say to Chad, I feel like he's famous because like he's just the coolest little kid ever. He is so sweet. He is so perfect. He's so beautiful. He is so smart. I love him, but being a parent is very stressful. It's very hard. You don't have sick days. You don't have days off. They are looking at you for all of their answers for absolutely everything. So it's not easy, and nobody's perfect. And I always say to Chad, I feel like kids don't remember the first few years of their life for a reason. Like, this is the learning time. This is where you can mess up, and they're not going to remember it. One thing I have learned for sure, actually I learned this from one of you, there's been times where we wanted to take Forrest somewhere like the zoo, and we pull up and it's not open. And if he was old enough to remember that we were going to go to the zoo and then all of a sudden we didn't, like, it would be a meltdown, you know. So when he does remember that that's what we're going to do, or he does understand, I probably will just say, we have a surprise for you. And then if we're going to the zoo and it's not open, we can find an ice cream place or something and say like, oh, we're getting ice cream, instead of ruining a trip to the zoo that's not happening, that was supposed to happen. So yeah, I've learned that, and I will be doing that in the future when we go do activities. What would you do if you weren't an influencer? So the last job that I had before I was doing this, I was a social media specialist, and there's a lot of different like ways to title this job, but basically I was running the social media for a brand. I was writing the posts for their blog. I was hiring influencers for videos and Instagram posts and whatnot. So basically like the same thing from the other perspective. So if for any reason I couldn't do this anymore, I would probably still work in social media, but I wouldn't be in front of the camera. It stopped recording, but I just read the question. It was, when you moved to California and then you moved back. I think she's just asking like what that was for. So I met Chad when I was 19, he was 24. When I was 20 and he was 25, we moved to California, and it was basically for life experience. We didn't know if we were gonna stay there forever. I don't think we ever really thought we were gonna stay there forever, but just to experience another way of life. So I went to school out there and worked my butt off. So did Chad. He worked at a bunch of different restaurants in the Michelin category, which is like the best restaurants in the world. The food is super high end. The service is super high end. They're hard to get into. And it's a lot of like, you know, science that goes into the food. It's definitely not just like everyday food. And San Francisco is very, oh, it was San Francisco. I don't think I said that. It's like a very food scene kind of city, so it's a great place to go for that. And the Academy of Art is a great school. I went for fashion design, and we lived there for almost 4 years, I want to say, and then we moved back. It's a hard way of life for sure when you live in a city and you're taking public transportation every day, and San Francisco is very expensive. Our rent, we had a roommate, was more than our mortgage is now, and we are like way older, and obviously like we're doing a lot better financially than we were when we were, you know, a lot younger and working at restaurants. So it is a very, very expensive city. The vast majority of people spend the vast majority of what they make on their rent, and we were ready to buy a house and be closer to family. Of course, we don't have family like super duper close, but within the same state is a lot closer than several hours on a plane. The cost of living here is so much lower, and we're able to have more and do more when we live here versus if we live there. We went back to San Francisco with Forrest in the summertime for a wedding. Well, it was in Sonoma, which is like an hour away, and it was just so crazy, our perspective now versus then. Like, we would not be able to travel and have the things, it's not all about stuff, you know, but our lifestyle would not be anywhere what it is now if we lived there, because everything is so much more expensive. Do you have a full-time nanny? I'm almost laughing reading this. No, I don't have a nanny. I don't have a babysitter. I don't have anything like that. I don't have a housekeeper. People always ask me if someone is here to clean our house like every week or a couple weeks. No, we literally have none of that at all. Your top Disney resorts on your list to stay at. So I will say Chad and I were never into Disney at all until we had Forrest, and now we're like obsessed with it because it's the most practical vacation in terms of things to do for your whole family. When you have littles and you're adults and you also want to enjoy yourself, it is so fun. Of course, it's like so expensive, so it's not an all the time kind of thing by any means. I'll tell you where I've stayed. I've stayed at the yacht club. I haven't stayed there since I was like 11 or 12. I was in 5th grade, but it's a very nice hotel. I've stayed at the Floridian, which is really nice, very classic, kind of an old school vibe. And then I stayed at the Riviera twice, and it is amazing. We absolutely love the Riviera. It has like a French feel to it. We love the Riviera. I would like to stay at the Polynesian. I've gone through, actually I ate there once, I forgot about that. And so I've been in the lobby, but I've never stayed there. I know they just redid it, so I think that would be really fun to do. Honestly, we cannot wait to go back to Disney. We just can't go right now because Forrest is 2, so he needs to sit in his own seat. He needs to wear a mask, and he won't wear a mask yet. He doesn't understand. I'm not gonna like hold him down and put a mask on him, you know? I need to wait until he will wear it, or he understands what it's for, or he doesn't have to wear a mask. So who knows when any of that's going to happen, but we would love to go back. That is the reason why we can't right now. So I love Disney, you guys, having 4. It is so amazing to see him there and see him so into it. And I'm always just so, I mean, he's gone twice and he's only 2 years old. He's so lucky. I definitely didn't have that kind of experience when I was his age. I went once in 5th grade, and so I was a little bit old for it at that point to really, you know, like be fully into it. Like, he thinks all the characters and those things are the characters, and it's just so exciting to see it through his eyes. And I'm so grateful that we're able to give him that experience, because I know on social media and on YouTube and Instagram and all of those places, you know, when you see those things, it seems like everybody is doing those things, and everybody's certainly not doing those things. It is a luxury to be able to travel at all, especially to Disney. So I'm so grateful that we've been able to do that, and I hope we're able to continue to do that because it is so fun and so unique. And yeah, I just love it. I cannot wait to take him back as soon as any of those things happen that I mentioned. I thought I was going to run out of things to wrap. Oh, I actually have one left, but I don't even know how I'm going to wrap this one. That's a hard one to wrap. It's going to be all bumpy, but I did wrap 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I didn't wrap that. Okay, we wrapped 4, but I got through a lot of questions. I hope you enjoyed just hanging out with me and talking and chatting and wrapping. I'm so glad I got at least 4 done. These are going to look so cute under the tree. Thank you for spending the time with me. Thank you for watching my videos and being here and showing up for me. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm so grateful for you. This is the best job in the whole world to me. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do, and I am so thankful that I get to do this every single day. I've had plenty of jobs that I hated. I've had jobs where I had to clean the bathroom every day. I've had jobs where I worked for people who were just mean or who didn't value their employees. You know, everyone's had bad jobs. So I'm so thankful every day that I get to do this. I'm thankful for you. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I promise I'm not always so rambly. I am normally straight to the point in my videos, so it's very different for me to just sit and chat. But yes, I'll say thank you again, and I'll see you right here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye!